Hello, I'm Josh from the Wine Tastings Guide, I've never really done wine tasting videos before, but my family is making a big move across country coming up pretty soon, and I'm going to have to downsize my cellar a little bit. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to drink up some good wines and to document it here with a video. So tonight, the first wine I'm going to taste for you and tell you about is this J.J. Prum, or Jojo's Prum, German Riesling from Wählen or Sonnenner. And for those of you who don't know a lot about German wines, first of all I should say a lot of people think that they don't like German wines because, well, A, because they probably don't know very much about them and they can be a little mysterious and hard to understand, but also a lot of people I always hear say German wines are too sweet. That's the most common thing I've heard people say, and I don't think anything could be further from the truth. Sure, there are many sweet wines made in Germany, but I think a lot of those people, they've had experience just with maybe a California Riesling or Gewürztraminer that was cloyingly sweet and not very appetizing, or other examples, or poor examples that they don't like. But a great Riesling, which is one of the classic noble grapes of Germany, they can vary from bone dry all the way through to very sticky sweet, but a good Riesling will always have a good balance of that sweetness with acidity and with minerality, which gives it grip and focus so that it doesn't taste like cloying, syrupy, like Robitussin or something. It tastes still vibrant and fresh, and is still refreshing to drink. And so the one I have here, and by the way, I mentioned Gewürztraminer, that one is actually more commonly grown, that grape is more commonly grown in Alsace in France, and most examples are pretty dry, although some California examples and others can be a little sweet. So anyway, this is a Riesling. Again, the producer is J.J. Prum, who is one of the most respected and best producers in the the Mosel-Saar-Ruhr River Valley. And this wine in particular, again, it's 100% Riesling is the grape. This is a Wählen or Sonnenner, which means it's from the Sonnenner vineyard in the town of, or village of Wählen. A lot of German names, wine names, are named for that, for the vineyard, preceded by the name of the village or town that it comes from. And this is a 1995 that I bought on release many years ago, so it's now about 21 years old from the vintage. And this is what's called an Auslese, which, if you don't know much about German wines, again, there are many different styles, and there are more than I'm going to talk about here, but of the traditional Prädikat levels, which are based on levels of ripeness of the grapes when they're picked, as well as the amount of botrytis or noble rot that are on the grapes, which helps kind of concentrate the flavors and the sweetness. There are several levels of ripeness, ranging from the Cabinet, which is the lowest ripeness level. They're the earliest harvested grapes that are not as sweet, tend to be more on the dry side, although they can have a little bit of residual sugar. Then there's Spätlese is the next level up, then Auslese, then Beerenauslese, and then Trockenbeerenauslese. Those are grapes made just from the grapes that have suffered from botrytis. Well, they've been infected by this mold called botrytis, or noble rot, that actually is beneficial in terms of, it gives a unique flavor and it concentrates the flavors and the sugars in the wine. Now this one is an Auslese, which is kind of that middle level, but Auslese is a wide range. It can range, some of them that are not as ripe can be closer to a Spätlese. Some of them on the other end of the spectrum can be quite sweet and have a fair amount of botrytis in them, and are closer to the Beerenauslese level. Now, J.J. Prum, in order to distinguish those, they have different levels of quality or ripeness of their Ausleses. The base level Auslese, which are still great, they're wonderful wines, has a white capsule on the top. And that's the only difference. The label doesn't say anything different. It's just the white capsule, which are the least ripe grapes at the Auslese level. Then they have, this is the gold capsule, or gold cap for short. And the gold capsule are riper grapes, often ones that have been handpicked with more botrytis affecting the grapes. So you get a little bit richer, darker color, a little more sweetness and intensity of flavor. They do make another level up, which is the long gold capsule, or LGK for short, that has two white bands at the bottom. I don't have one of those to show you because those are very expensive. They do go up in price kind of exponentially as you go up each level. The gold capsule is considerably more expensive than the base level white capsule, and then the gold cap is 2 or 3 times even that. It can can be hundreds of dollars a bottle, and they're very rare. And these gold caps and the long gold caps are not made every vintage, only the vintages where the ripeness level of the grapes and the botrytis is at the level that they deem to be good for that. So we're going to try this Auslese gold cap. And now these do come from my cellar. Again, it's a 21-year-old wine, and I can't guarantee, I hope, that these wines that I taste on video, none of them are corked or otherwise damaged, but we'll see. So I'm going to pop this one. Alright, came out pretty nicely. So far I don't smell any. Ooh, it smells good actually already, just a little whiff of it. I also have two different glasses. They're both Riedel Sommelier series, the hand-blown glasses. This is what they call the Riesling glass, or also, I think they also call it the Zinfandel and Chianti glass. So it's kind of a multi-purpose glass that can serve for a few different types of grapes. This one, on the other hand, is the Sauterne glass, which is made for dessert wines, like a Sauterne from Bordeaux. That's a very sweet dessert wine. But I've found that from the sweeter Ausleses up, that oftentimes this glass shape is beneficial, and I often like that. It's only really the drier Rieslings that I like out of these, but I'm going to try both and compare a little bit. So, all right, so it has a nice golden color. It's not as dark as I might think an older Auslese would be. Oh, it's a beautiful aroma. I wish I could somehow record the aroma and the taste, but this is definitely not corked or bad. In fact, it's probably right in its prime. I think these wines, most Rieslings, if they're well balanced and well made, can age for a very long time, especially the sweeter ones and the ones with botrytis. This has, I can only describe it as basically being rays of sunshine. It's like this bright, golden, kind of concentrated raisins and peach and apricot kind of aromas, along with a lot of minerality and a little hint of what they often describe as petrol, or kind of, I guess it's kind of a minerally kind of smell, but people describe it as being a little bit like gasoline or petrol, which sounds like a bad thing, but can be, a little bit of it can be really interesting and add complexity to them. Definitely a nice rocky minerality that you often find is very fine kind of minerality in the Velin or Sonnenberg wines, which is one of J.J. Prum's most famous vineyards. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I think it's at a really nice spot right now. I'm going to taste it. That's really beautiful. Again, I think it's in a perfect spot. It's just starting to get a little of that petrol that older Rieslings sometimes get, but not enough that it's off-putting or dominant. It's not super sweet. It's concentrated and intense in flavor, but it's not like sticky sweet like a dessert wine. This would go great with many different foods, and if you've never had a slightly sweet Riesling with a spicy Thai cuisine, then you should definitely try it. But it's beautiful. I'd say the only thing I can say is that it's a little bit clipped on the finish. It doesn't quite linger as long as I would like it to. That I just opened the bottle, maybe it just needs to get a little air, but the intensity in the mouth and the flavors are just beautiful. While I'm swirling that, I'm just going to compare back to back a little bit with this other glass and see if I can tell any difference. In terms of aroma, it's interesting. This taller kind of tulip-shaped glass seems to bring out more of the bright fruit. It's a little bit more bright and fruity. This one seems to be a little darker, but really well balanced. Kind of, it's kind of the minerality kind of rounds it out more a little bit. Let's see. I like it from the mouth better, even better from here. Sorry, I think that the camera shut off for some reason a second ago there, but what I was saying was that although these are slightly different, I might prefer it a little bit out of the Sauterne glass. It's really splitting hairs. They're very similar out of the two glasses, and they're both delicious. Just slightly different things are kind of emphasized in each one. But overall, this is a beautiful wine. I'm very happy that I opened it up. I had the foresight to buy it way back when and hold on to it all this time. I would say this is almost as good as Auslese gets. I mean, you'd be hard pressed. I mean, I've had some older J.J. Prums and things, and J.J. Prum never disappoints or never fails to impress. It's just gorgeous wines that are really well balanced. They really show their terroir of where they come from really well. If you taste the different wines of J.J. Prum, like his Verliner Sonnener versus his Grocker Himmelreich, which is really just kind of next door in the next village over, or Bernkasteller Bachstu, which is another vineyard that he makes a bit of wine from. They all have the J.J. Prum style, and are really well balanced, but they have their own unique little personalities that are slightly different. And each one can be glorious, just differently, but Verliner Sonnener is certainly one of the best. Delicious. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed and learned a little bit about J.J. Prum and German wines. Until next time.